Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
He's over it. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Shauna, and thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. So thanks for joining. I'm repeating all the words, I'm sorry. So in today's video, we are gonna be going over my basically end of year wrap up. I fell off the wagon there a little bit as far as putting out content and filming videos. If you haven't watched my last video, I made an announcement that my husband, Tony, and I are expecting a baby. And so we are very excited, but of course, the first few months were very, very rough. So I was not able to put out content. I wasn't even able to read. So I got a little slim readings there near the end of the year, but I thought I'd just speed through them really quick and then just give you my quick end of year wrap up. So let's just jump right into it. So I'll start with what I read in the month of September and October, because then I didn't read anything in November and December at all, like at all. So I'll speed through these really quick and just be a little brief about it. The first book that I read in September was actually an audiobook that was gifted to me by Simon & Schuster Audio. So thank you so much to Simon & Schuster Audio for giving me this book to read and review. Well, it was an audiobook, so I listened. And the title is How to Chase Change by Alexis Fernandez-Preiksa. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. She is an influencer and blogger. Well, actually, I don't know if she blogs, but she is a podcaster. Her podcast has a cuss word in it, so I won't say it, but I will link everything up here and down in the description. But her podcast is awesome. Her book was awesome. It was really about how to change your life. And I loved it. I really enjoyed it. So thank you again so much to Simon & Schuster Audio for giving me this book to review. The next book that I read in the month of September is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. This is a nonfiction book as well. And this one I will just, because I really don't remember a lot of things that I read. Like I don't remember a lot of what I read about or like what the books were about specifically. But I remember that this one was okay. I feel like it was more hyped up and it didn't live up to the expectations I thought it would. So it was just okay for me. It was all right. So we'll just move on to the next book. Okay, so the next book that I read is actually a reread, and it's The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I reread this one because the second book came out during, I think that month, during September? Was it September or August? Either way, it was a new release, and I was very excited for it, but it had been a minute since I read House in the Cerulean Sea, so I wanted to refresh my brain. Of course, I loved it. Again, it is absolutely one of my favorites. I love TJ Klune. And then, so I jumped right in from first book into the second book, Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. So that's the second book that came out recently. And I think that's all that he's doing. I don't know for certain. The way that it wraps up, feels like it's probably done. But I said that about the first one and had no idea that he was coming out with the second. I absolutely love the second book. I thought it was a really cool take on being in the other character's perspective. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go too deep into what these books are about. I'll just say that I absolutely loved it. I think it was great, and you should definitely go read his stuff. Okay, so this next book I read is actually also an ARC, which is an advanced reader copy. So this was also gifted to me by the publishers. So thank you so much for sending that over. And it was Christmas at Glitter Peak Lodge, and it had actually already been out, but it was by a Norwegian author. So the translated version that was coming out in America in English was being released last year. So they sent me this copy to review. And I did actually review it on my blog, and I gave everything, I reviewed it everywhere else and made a post about it on Instagram. I just fell flat when making a video. But this was actually a really cute book. It takes you through the days leading up to Christmas for this girl who is running her family's lodge in Norway. So it was really cozy and homey, and I really was excited to read this one too because Tony and I did our honeymoon in Norway. So it brought back a lot of memories with that and the lodge that we stayed in. And we were all cozy and nice and warm with the snow outside, and it was beautiful. So brought back a lot of memories, and I really enjoyed this book. So these next two books were also gifted to me as like an advanced reader copy. The first one was already out, but I hadn't read it. But they wanted to gift me the second book in the series that was coming out. So I quickly read through the first one that they gifted me. They sent that over, and then I read through the second one before that one came out. And this was gifted to me by the author and her publishing company, and her name is Dana Claire, and the first book is Hunterland, and the second book is Hunterlore. These were really fun, just fun werewolf novels. Like, it was just fun. It just brought me back to like my high school days, and it was so nostalgic. It was just, I sped through it so quickly. Like, it was one of those ones you can just easily digest and just kind of voraciously read. So I had a lot of fun with this, and thank you again to Dana Claire and the publishing company for sending those over to me as well. So this last book was actually one I just picked up because everyone was hyping it up and it sounded really good. And it's called Under the Surface by Diana Urban. Y'all, when I tell you, this easily became one of my favorite books of the year. Like, hands down, it was so good. It is a young adult thriller, and I don't really read young adult as much anymore. I still love it. Like, I will pick it up. I'm not against it. But I have been leaning more towards adult in the past couple of years. So I was a little hesitant with this one, but it was like a young adult. She classified it as a young adult romance thriller. So I had to find out what it was about. And it was about these teenagers being trapped in the Paris catacombs trying to get out. How freaking cool is that? So super eerie, super creepy. I got scared a bunch of times. I was reading it before bed and got scared several times. So I will just say that I highly, highly recommend this one. It was such a good read. So the first book that I read in the month of October is another book that was gifted to me, and this is by a self-published author. Her name is Tatiana White, and it is called The Gifted Society. This was such a good book. I absolutely loved it, sped through it. Again, wrote reviews about it on Instagram if you want to check it out. All of those links and stuff I always put in the description, so check it out below. But thank you again, Tatiana, for sending me the book itself. And she also sent cute little gifts, like stickers and like all of this stuff, and a very sweet handwritten letter thanking me for taking on the book and being a part of this team for her to just put that out there. So I really loved the book. It was so fascinating. I highly recommend it to everybody. Definitely go check that one out. So the last three books that I read in the month of October, I'm lumping them all together. It's by the same author. It's in the same series. I flew through this. It's by Lauren Roberts, and it is Powerful, Powerless, and Reckless. Or switch that around, sorry. Powerless, and then you have the novella in between, Powerful, and then you have Reckless, which is technically like the second book in the series. I loved these. If you couldn't tell, because I read three of them, that I flew through them in 1 month. I was so excited to read them. I couldn't put it down. They were so good. So I highly recommend those two. Definitely check those out. Okay, so I just wanted to speed through those really quickly, just to give you that update, since I didn't do any monthly wrap-ups for those last two, or for September and October, I didn't do a monthly wrap-up video for those. So I just wanted to give you that information. If you wanted to skip ahead, that's totally fine. It's fine. Now we're going to jump into overall for 2024, the different questions. It's basically the end of book year tag. I am picking and choosing what questions to answer because I don't want this video to be too long, having done the wrap-up of 2 months before. So we'll just jump right into it with the first question. And the first question is the most disappointing read of 2024. Y'all, it has to be Crescent City 3 by Sarah J. Maas. It was such a letdown, and it was at the beginning of the year too, but by far the biggest disappointment of the year. I think it was just because it was so hyped up. Everyone was so excited. Jordan and I went to the midnight release of it. We were staying up late to start reading it. Like, we were so ready and so excited for this, and it just fell flat. It just fell flat. I hate to say it. Okay, the next question is a book that surprised you. I put 2 in this category because they really did surprise me. And the first one is Under the Surface by Diana Urban. This one's gonna make the list quite a bit, probably in this tag. it surprised me because like I said before in the beginning of this video, I don't really read young adult as much anymore. Again, I'm not opposed to reading it. That's not what I'm gravitating towards. So when I picked this up, and I also don't read a lot of thrillers, and when I do read thrillers, I'm often disappointed. I can go into that details in another video. But with thrillers, I'm often disappointed. I hate it because I feel like nobody really does endings quite right for me specifically. The book itself can be fabulous, and I will be loving it up until like the last few chapters when everything is resolved. I don't like things being resolved. I know I'm weird, but anyways. I felt though that Diana Urban did this thriller justice, and it was so well done, so well written, so eerie and creepy, kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time I was reading it. And I couldn't put it down. I read it in like a couple days. I was just flying through it. So that one definitely surprised me. The other one that I put in this category is On a Sunbeam by Tillie Walden. Yeah, Tillie Walden. This one was a graphic novel, and I was just so blown away by it that I just didn't expect it to hit me as hard as it did. But I'm glad I read it when I did. It was just such a heartwarming, fun graphic novel, but so heartbreaking at the same time. Like, it just wrenches your gut. Like, it's just so good. It was so good. Okay, I'm picking up my laptop for this one because I wrote a couple of them in this category, so I just have to read them to you. And it's your favorite book couple or couples of the year. So I put a few down. One of them being From Powerless by Lauren Roberts. These two, man, they put their claws in me and they latched on, and I couldn't let this couple go. Like, they are the freaking best. The next one I put is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. This couple just has had my heart since book one with the House in the Cerulean Sea. They have grabbed me and never let go. Like, all of TJ Klune's couples would go in this category because I just love them so much. The next one would be Under the Surface by Diana Urban. Again, I mentioned this as a thriller romance. So the main character's love interest is up on the surface looking for her, and they don't know that they're in the Paris catacombs, and they're trying to figure out where they went, all of this stuff, and they're trying to get back to each other. This couple was so cute and just so pure and innocent that I wanted to hug them and never let them go. Okay, so your favorite main character of the year is going to be the next question, and that's probably going to have to be Peyton from Powerless series. Pei is just badass and just such a cool character. I love her. I am a sucker for a really strong warrior-like woman, and she is that for me. I loved her. She probably had to be my favorite out of everybody that I read this year. Okay, the next question is new favorite author that you discovered this year. I don't know if it's new favorite or just new author you discovered that you love. Either way, they're all going on there. Lauren Roberts, who wrote the Powerless trilogy, or not trilogy yet, there's more coming out, but the Powerless series, she definitely goes on that list. That's the first of hers that I read, loved it. Diana Urban is going on this list. I'm definitely checking out the other book that she wrote. I think she actually wrote a couple more. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm really gonna check her out because I loved her work. And the last one is actually T. Kingfisher. This book that I read this year, I think has made the list, and a couple of other questions that we're gonna go through. But I read What Moves the Dead by them this year. So good. It was so good. So I definitely have to say them because they also write under it. I think T. Kingfisher is a pen name. Potentially, I don't know. I don't know all of it just yet. Either way, I know they've written a lot of other stuff, and I can't wait to check out all of their other books. Okay, the next question is, what is the happiest book that you read this year? That's got to go to Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. It's just, all of his books are so heartwarming, and they're just a cozy little warm hug, and they always make me happy. Even if he's writing about deep, serious things that are difficult to talk about, he just writes it in such a way that is so much easier to talk about, and it sparks a conversation in such a unique way that any book I read of his just makes me happy. It just puts a smile on my face. Okay, so opposite of that, what is the saddest book that you read this year? That has to go to Release by Lucy Christopher. this book broke me. It broke me. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So this next question is the most frustrating book that you read in 2024. I put this one on this list because I technically started it in 2024 and got a good way through it, but I didn't finish it until early January of 2025 because I just wasn't reading. So I put it on this list though because it frustrated the heck out of me. And it is called Born of Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I don't even know what to say about it. It just was so long for no reason. And it's the end of her Flesh and Fire series, which goes with her From Blood and Ash series. The From Blood and Ash is still going on. I think they have one more book. I don't know if they're doing any more. I know there's one more coming out this year. But the Flesh and Fire series, I've loved more than From Blood and Ash. So my disappointment when it's the last book in this prequel series and it's just all talk, no action, nothing happening, no questions answered until the last 100 pages. And it's like 800-page book and the font is super tiny. And I was very frustrated, if you couldn't tell. So I had to give it to that book. Okay, so this next one is your favorite cover from 2024. So I chose this out of the books that I read, which I think is what you're supposed to do, but I'm just letting you know. This had to go to For the Wolf and actually For the Crown by Hannah Whitten. So it's a duology, and they go together. But these covers, I mean, just look at these covers. Like they're so beautiful. Like I'm gonna put them here or over here. I don't know where we're gonna put the graphic, but we're gonna put the graphics up, and they're just so pretty. Like look at them. So yeah, hands down, had to go to these two. The next question is a book you haven't stopped thinking about. I think you guys kind of might know where this is going, but it's gotta be Under the Surface by Diana Irvin. Can't get it off my mind. It's stuck there. It's on a loop forever. A lot of scary parts too, which is not fun most of the time. All right, this next one is unpopular book that you loved. Now, I'm giving it to this book, and it's not that it's unpopular, but it's the second book in a series, and I feel that people were a little let down, but I actually liked the second one a little bit, just a tiny bit more than the first one. And that is Leather and Lark by Bryn Reaver. I don't know. I love them. I love Lark and I love Lachlan, and this couple got me in a way that I don't think any couple has gotten me for a while. And I love them. Don't get me wrong. I love Rowan and Sloane from the first one, Butcher and Blackbird, but this one, I chose this one too. Like I said, it's not that people disliked it or that it was an unpopular book. I think people just preferred the first one and they missed that couple over the second one. So I chose that one, but I really love the second one. I thought it was great. So here's the next question is a book you thought you would love but didn't. Giving this to Born of Blood and Ash. I really thought she would pick it up by that last book, and it was the last book in the sequel or the series. So I just thought I would absolutely love it, and it just fell flat. I hate that, but it is what it is. Okay, and then the last question is a book that had the most unique concept of the year. So I had to give this to Under the Surface. I thought it was so cool, the way that she went about it, and I've never actually read a thriller romance before, so the whole idea of it was what drew me in and why I wanted to pick it up, on top of the fact that everyone was talking about it. And then the other book I put in this category was Somewhere Beyond the Sea. Just that whole series in general, I think it's just a very cool concept to think about and approaching difficult conversations and putting it in a unique, fantastical kind of world and using a lot of fantastical elements. So I had to give it to these two. I thought they were really cool concepts, and I thought they were executed well as well. All right, so I hope that this video doesn't end up being too extremely long, but I hope that you guys enjoyed it. My end of year book wrap up, book tag. I guess I got to figure out the title of this video, but it's going to be all of that. I just wanted to go over with you, like I said, September and October's reads, because I never actually showed you what I read because baby got in the way of that, but it's okay. So If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can stick around and check out all of my bookish content. Hit the bell icon if you want to be notified anytime that I post a new video, if you want to stay, the most up to date with all the videos that I come out with. I'm hoping now that I'm back in the swing of things, I can be posting regularly like I had been last year. We'll see how far along that goes with, I'm gonna have a big belly and be out of breath for a long time. So I'm gonna try to stay consistent and give you guys all the bookish content. Yeah, if you have done this video yourself or are a blogger and you've done this tag, I would love to, if you give yourself a plug in the comments below, I would love to check it out. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I hope that you stick around to my channel and watch more videos. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Here's the smooshy face. He was sleeping. I know. You were tired. You're still tired. But you love your Christmas sweater, don't you? Because it's cold out. We're going to stay festive all year, aren't we, bud? Yeah.